Hello everybody, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. So this video is just going to be kind of a walkthrough to an average morning while camping in Hawaii. I was camping for a month, and I'm also going to go over some of the gear that I brought with me. So for my tent, I was bringing the Stormbreaker 1. This is a one-man tent. This tent was seriously awesome. It's by the North Face. It kept me super dry. I was camping during the winter months in Hawaii, and although that means things are a lot more green and a lot more lush, and the plants were just amazing, I had to go through some serious storms, and this tent, like I said, totally withstood that, so definitely recommend this tent, and it's pretty inexpensive as well. So the first thing I would do when I would wake up is kind of just chill, observe things, and kind of pick out my clothes for the day. I highly recommend carrying your clothes in a mesh bag, similar to this one. They're relatively inexpensive. You can get them at MEC, just to help keep your clothes smelling relatively fresh. My staple outfit while camping was just like a baggy t-shirt and some shorts. Kind of plain, but practical. Something else to mention if you're camping is to have a clean source of drinking water. I brought with me a MSR Miniworks X water filter. Relatively expensive, but I mean, staying hydrated is super important. The campground that I was at here actually had water, but I filtered it anyway. And this Nalgene water bottle is seriously awesome. I dropped this thing from some pretty crazy heights, and it withstood it all, so love that. Next thing I would do is my favorite thing, eat some food. So the stove that I was using was the Primus Class Trail LPG stove. This thing was super awesome. It was really lightweight, portable, and relatively inexpensive. I was also using any butane or propane canister I could find. I would usually get the fuel cartridges at like a Home Depot or the equivalent to. For my pots and pans, I had this pot set that I had got from MEC. It's by MSR. It comes with 2 pots, both with lids and a separate handle, which was also really lightweight and perfect for bringing camping and backpacking because everything's on your back. I was camping at this spot for about 3 days, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to go through like what I would eat during that duration. Keep in mind that I do eat a lot of food and that I love to eat. So average breakfast would usually be oatmeal with a cut up banana, some coffee. This was my favorite one to bring with me. Blueberry cinnamon flax, delicious. And coffee, because I'm a coffee addict. As well as these things. These were awesome. They're totally organic and delicious. I think it's baby food, honestly, but when it comes to camping, it's not always easy to bring with you like vegetables and fruits, so you gotta get those veggies in. These super green packets, I got these at MEC. These were actually not that good, so for snacks, I would not recommend to get these again. Maybe try a different flavor or something, but these ones were no bueno. And then this is just an average kind of lunch thing. Something quick, something easy. I also had tea with me. Sometimes in Hawaii, it gets relatively cold, like at night. I was camping in a canyon once, and it got down to -2 degrees, so something to warm you up on those nights was pretty convenient. And then kind of for dinner, I would bring either like something high calorie, usually one of these soups or one of those backpacker meals that I just showed. Some chili there. I always had backup rice and backup quinoa with me. It's really important when you're camping to make sure you're meeting all your calorie needs, especially if you're doing things like hiking. Some dried mango there for a snack. I also made these protein bars before I left and brought them with me, and they were delicious. Then I just have some spices here for my oatmeal, my backup oatmeal. And this was honestly a really great treat. Someone gave this to me who I met in Hawaii. It's Alaskan salmon. And then we have some snacks here, peanut butter, protein shake, Cliff bars, chocolate bars, and some crackers. So yeah, that's pretty much what I would bring with me. Usually just food that's easy to prepare and quick to prepare, because obviously I didn't want to use tons of fuel, and I wanted to go through them relatively slowly because I only had a few with me at the time. So after I would cook my breakfast, I would kind of just sit around and relax as I ate it. This was probably my favorite part of the day. I love mornings, so this was really fun for me. And then I would usually walk down to the beach with my coffee and kind of just look at the views, enjoy the pretty ocean. The ocean is honestly amazing in Hawaii. Here I am just walking with my coffee. And then I would go sit in my tent for a bit and just drink my coffee, chill, relax, and do my thing. Do you see dolphins here a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. What time do they usually come at?
All kind of times.
Yeah.
Sometimes early in the morning or later on.
Did you see them this morning?
No.
No.
They might be coming today though.
So that was just a local guy that I was chatting with, and even though the dolphins didn't come on that day, the following day they did come. This was honestly one of the highlights of my entire trip. I put on my snorkel gear and I swam with wild dolphins. This is one of those experiences that I'll never forget, and it was the closest thing to magic that I've ever experienced. And these are just spinner dolphins. They were beautiful. Nature is so cool. So I'm just going to talk about some of the gear that you can see here in this clip. To the left of me, I have my boots. I have pretty large feet, so I got away with buying men's boots because they were cheaper to buy, which is kind of crazy. Why is that? These are the Gypsum 2s. They're waterproof. They're by the brand called Keens. These were awesome hiking boots. They withstood some serious water that I had to walk through, and they dried pretty quickly. And my backpack to the right of me is by Mech. It's the Flare. It's a 70-liter backpack, which fit all of my gear perfectly. And even though it was big, it fit it. So really, really liked it. And it was comfortable enough for me to wear on a regular basis. So affordable and convenient. That's what I enjoy. So after staring off into oblivion for a ridiculous long amount of time, I would change my clothes, decide what I was going to do this day. This day I decided to go to the beach, so here I am struggling to close my tent, but this is how I would change my clothes. This is actually hilarious to watch. Look at me struggle. Usually this was smooth, but I don't know why. This, of course, while I was trying to film it, it just wasn't working. There you go, Carly. So I'm just changing into my bathing suit in this footage. The park that I was camping at was actually called Hokena Beach Park. It's on Big Island. This was an awesome campground, by the way. They had snorkel gear you could rent. They had snacks. And as you saw earlier, there were locals that were super knowledgeable about different things in the area, which is really important when you're backpacking. You know, locals usually know the best spots. So, yeah. And the next thing I would do, this is kind of tedious but really important to do, I would organize all my things. While camping, I realized that organization is absolutely vital. Knowing what I had, where it was super important for times. For example, when I was setting up my gear in the dark, I needed to know where everything was, because if not, I'd be stranded. And also, camping at a beach sounds fun, but there was so much sand in my tent all of the time. So I would usually empty out all of my stuff, including my sleeping pad and my sleeping pillow. The sleeping pad that I brought with me was the Mech Reactor 3.8 sleeping pad. I'm going to have all the links down below to my gear, but just in case you're wondering, a lot of it's Mech. My sleeping bag is the Draco OC sleeping bag from Mech, and I also had a Mech air pillow in my tent. So I'd usually just take all that out, shake all the sand away, and kind of pack up for the day. And in this next clip, I'm just drinking a ridiculous amount of water prior to doing whatever I was doing. I just usually would carry my Nalgene on a carabiner like this orange one here, and I would strap it to my backpack and then bring that with me wherever I was going for the day. So on this particular day, I decided to just go to the beach and kind of chill, maybe go for a little swim. So I would pack all my stuff with me. So this is kind of what I would usually be wearing on an average day. Bathing suit, sarong, easy, simple, and I could use my sarong as a beach towel as well. This backpack I have here, I got from Costco. I don't actually know the brand name of it. I'll try to link it below if I find it. But it had like a wrap-around strap, which was super awesome for supporting my back while carrying all my stuff. Just some vitals there, hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, tanning lotion. Really important to get a sunscreen that is coral safe, by the way, which I'm going to be touching upon later. My wallet, a buff, a chapstick, and something to carry my GoPro with underwater. My GoPro itself. Next is a total vital as well, portable charger. This thing came in super handy for charging my phone as well as charging my GoPro. This is just a microfiber towel that I would bring with me. Of course, like I said, my water bottle and my flipper and snorkel set. And then with that being said, I'm all ready to head to the beach with my flippy floppies. So then I would just go to the beach and plop down, enjoy some sun, get some rays in there. Oh, so warm. Then I would usually do my favorite thing, which is have a little snack, do some tanning, and of course go for a swim in the big old blue. When people ask me about how my trip was, I usually tell them it was awesome, but there was a part of my trip that I tried to turn a blind eye to and tried to turn off, but I felt overcome with obligation to express this, and that was the state of the coral that I saw, the coral reefs. I had expected to see coral that looked something like this, bright, vibrant, full of color and life, with really diverse animals, and what I ended up actually seeing was this. And if you're wondering what you're seeing, or you're wondering why the coral looks this way, this is due to the lack of algae that lives in a symbiotic relationship with coral. It's what gives it that bright color. So what happens is that coral is affected by the ocean conditions and the algae dies, leaving behind just bleached coral. If you know anything about coral bleaching, it's happening all around the world, not just Hawaii, but everywhere. And it usually results in the coral itself dying, which is insane. This happens for a number of reasons, all due to environmental disturbances within the ocean that are all related to human-made emissions. This includes global warming, pollution, agricultural runoff, shipping, and the acidification of the ocean. This is a graph that shows the rise in temperature in the ocean itself, which is largely to do with why the coral bleaches and why it dies. As much as I didn't want to talk about this in this video, I feel like it's detrimental. They say that we have lost 50% of the coral reefs in the past 30 years. That's a huge number. And they predict as early as 2050 that we will have lost up to 90% of the coral reefs around the world. And that's just insane. This is an underwater rainforest, and half of it is dead due to human behavior. Now, I know you're wondering, well, what does the coral reef do for us? Well, the coral reef actually provides a lot of raw materials that are included in medicine, and it also is responsible for absorbing a third of harmful emissions that people produce, and that's why the coral dies. Coral reefs also protect against storms. When crazy storms happen in the ocean, the coral reef works as a barrier for the land around it, which ultimately affects the ground and the earth that the people are living on around the ocean. As amazing as it was to see this, it was shocking and alarming. And like I said, I felt obligated to put this in my video because I couldn't not. And these coral reefs, although they only make up about 1% of all marine life, they actually host a quarter of all marine life in the world. A quarter. And if they don't have anywhere to live, they're going to die off and become extinct. And that includes probably some of the favorite animals that you love and you've heard of your whole life. Marine animals that include sea turtles. They won't have a place to live and will eventually become extinct. Animals like dolphins, spinner dolphins that I got to swim with, they will be gone. Sea cucumbers, tons of different types of fish, starfish, sea lions, seals. It's a chain effect. If they die, other animals will die, resulting in a collapse of a super delicate ecosystem. And if you know anything about a food chain, if they die, it will affect us. They say around 500 million people worldwide depend on coral to provide food, tourism, employment, and like I said earlier, protection from extreme weather. Losing our oceans will have a catastrophic effect on our life on land, and the world is so beautiful. And getting to see all of this in Hawaii made me feel kind of hopeless, but appreciative to be there in the moment getting to see it. I'm going to have some links down below of some things and some websites, some tips that you can look into and ways that you can help contribute to restoring and helping the environment, which will help the ocean and the coral reefs. And just know that even though it seems hopeless, there are things, like I said, you can do to help in your day-to-day life. And that's all you can do, is try to help preserve our beautiful earth, because it is so beautiful. And Hawaii especially, it blew me away. It really did. It was amazing. I highly suggest getting the chance to go here and travel and backpack for sure, because it was worthwhile and it definitely changed my life. Thanks for watching this video, you guys. And again, check out those links down below. Thank you.